The Wind in a Frolic by William Howitt. The wind one morning sprung up from sleep, saying, "Now for a frolic, now for a leap, now for a madcap galloping chase, I'll make a commotion in every place." So it swept with a bustle right through a great town, creaking the signs and scattering down shutters, and whisking with merciless squalls old women's bonnets and gingerbread stalls. There never was heard a much lustier shout as the apples and oranges trundled about, and the urchins that stand with their thievish eyes, for ever on watch, ran off each with a prize. Then away to the field it went blustering and humming, and the cattle all wondered whatever was coming. It plucked by their tails the grave matronly cows, and tossed the colts' manes all about their brows, till offended at such a familiar salute, they all turned their backs and stood suddenly mute. So on it went, capering and playing its pranks, whistling with reeds on the broad river's banks, puffing the birds as they sat on the spray, or the traveller grave on the king's highway. It was not too nice to hustle the bags of the beggar and flutter his dirty rags. 'Twas so bold that it feared not to play its joke with the doctor's wig or the gentleman's cloak. Through the forest it roared and cried gaily, "Now, you sturdy oaks, I'll make you bow." And it made them bow without more ado, or it cracked their great branches through and through. Then it rushed like a monster on cottage and farm, striking their dwellers with sudden alarm. And they ran out like bees in a midsummer swarm. There were dames with their kerchiefs tied over their caps, to see if their poultry were free from mishaps. The turkeys they gobbled, the geese screamed aloud, and their hens crept to roost in a terrified crowd. There was rearing of ladders and logs laying on, where the thatch from the roof threatened soon to be gone. But the wind had passed on, and had met in a lane with a schoolboy who panted and struggled in vain, for it tossed him and twirled him, and passed, and he stood with his hat in a pool and his shoe in the mud. There was a poor man, hoary and old, cutting the heath on the open wold. The strokes of his bill were faint and few, ere this frolicsome wind upon him blew. But behind him, before him, about him came, and the breath seemed gone from the feeble frame. So he sat him down with a muttering tone, saying, "Plague on the wind, was the like ever known? But nowadays every wind that blows tells one how weak an old man grows." But away went the wind in its holiday glee, and now it was far on the billowy sea, and the lordly ships felt its staggering blow, and the little boats darted to and fro. But lo, it was night, and it sank to rest on the sea-bird's rock in the gleaming west, laughing to think in its fearful fun how little of mischief it had done.